what are good ways for large corporates to sort of collaborate with very early stage startups and support the next generation of technologies that solve important problems?
So the fintech space is such a hotbed for startups, for innovation. There's globally there's a term, open banking, that you might have heard about, and it's so critical because for the first time you have um, data that can be obviously it's housed in financial institutions, but the applications that you can build with data are now becoming a partnership between financial institutions and startups. So in Europe, there is a lot of governance that requires data to be able to be exposed in a secure fashion for third parties to be able to create new applications and new technologies. So you're going to start to see a lot of the the neobanks and the fintech spaces like a Revolut, or maybe some other application that makes lending easier, that makes data insights easier. All the incredible thinking is still, a lot of this is being done by startups, right? So there needs to be a healthy dialogue and a partnership between incumbent financial institutions and incumbent financial players and the startup space. So open banking is just a great example of how it's becoming ever more critical for that to happen. In the U.S., we're also seeing a lot of that happen. You have a lot of what we call open banking data aggregators that allow permission data to be able to be used by third parties for some sort of innovative reason, whether it's a digital bank account, or whether it is some other kind of form of lending or another application. So I just stress this because if we are interlooking only, then we completely miss the entire opportunity space. So a company like Mastercard definitely has a lot of vehicles and means to be able to partner with the startup space. We actually have an initiative, it's called the Start Path program. And what that allows Mastercard to do is partner with typically, later stage startups, but partner and find ways to satisfy obviously the growth needs of those startups, but also at the same time, think about how Mastercard's community of partners can partner with that startup, and maybe there's a value exchange there. So I think that's just a great example of how it's now inside our business model to be able to partner and explore spaces with fintechs and with startup entities. At the same time, you're always going to see Mastercard and companies in Mastercard's position on the network side, or bigger banks, digital wallets, maybe thinking about acquisitions and stuff like that. Mastercard actually made an acquisition last year, an open banking data aggregator specifically called Finicity. And that's just a great example of how that partnership that started maybe as sort of two separate entities becomes one, and there's a way to kind of explore opportunity spaces like that. So to answer your question, Suraj, I think it's just very critical that that there is a gesture and a hand to that community, so that we can combine heads and make things happen that we otherwise couldn't do isolated.
Yeah, perfect. It's great to hear.